Hi, I'm Michelle Sterling for Friends of Science Society. CBC is reporting that a group of youth are planning to launch a lawsuit against the federal government, claiming Ottawa's role in perpetuating the crisis of climate violates their fundamental rights. CBC reports that in an unusual move, the intent to file the lawsuit was announced Wednesday by the David Suzuki Foundation, which is backing the teens as a co-plaintiff. Well, that all looks so grassroots, doesn't it? Except David Suzuki Foundation has been funded by Power Corporation since 2007, the 358th largest corporation in the world. The climate strike movement, as it turns out, is part of a huge corporate offset scheme by a bunch of green billionaires. I just got this public offering document last night, the English version of the Swedish offering, selling shares in what looks to be the world's largest social media, social engineering, and carbon offset scheme ever. I was aghast at the breathtaking scope and vision of this plan, and staggered by how successful they have been. We Don't Have Time is the name of the organization, and of course, the entire theme is built around a presumed climate crisis. Greta Thunberg is listed as the youth advisor to this highly sophisticated bandwagoning ad campaign that's designed to drive up or down the brand reputation of any company or individual with climate hearts or climate bombs. In fact, it seems like Greta is a walking native advertisement for this carbon offset company, a wildly successful one at that. In Canada, there are laws against raising public alarm. There are ad council rules against using children for commercial purposes, like this one. Advertisements must not exploit superstitions or play upon fears to mislead the consumer. Advertising to children must not exploit their credulity, their lack of experience, or their sense of loyalty. It must not present information or illustrations that might result in their physical, emotional, or moral harm. The claims of a climate crisis are wildly exaggerated according to more than 500 scientists and professionals. Even individual scientists have spoken out against climate deadlines and catastrophe and climate deadline headlines. Another factor in the Ad Standards Council, avoid undue pressure. Children must not be directly urged to purchase or ask their parents to make inquiries or purchases. Social values, a range of values that are inconsistent with the moral, ethical, or legal standards of contemporary Canadian society, must not be encouraged or portrayed. Well, the legal voting age in Canada is 18, but the David Suzuki Foundation has been running the 8 to 18 website, pushing for the legal age of kids to be dropped, or that adults should vote for me, as in the vote from the fears of a child, rather than the rational evaluation of an adult. Why do I bring up Canadian rules about a Swedish company? Because on the same board of directors of the related Swedish foundation of We Don't Have Time, where Greta is listed as a youth advisor, the director of a Canadian nonprofit Citizens Climate Lobby is listed as a director. According to their website, they've been relentlessly advocating for a carbon tax and dividend since 2010. The Competition Bureau also has rules for social influencers presenting themselves without acknowledging their commercial associations. And there are also rules against greenwashing, pretending something or some product is green when it's not. And in Alberta, the Alberta Securities Commission has a list of red flags about suspicious investment opportunities, and one of them is to stay away from anything that has an aura of urgency about it. So what are carbon offsets, you say, and why be concerned? Well, it might be worthwhile to look at Interpol. They have an excellent guide to carbon trading crime, and it addresses some of the mysteries and pitfalls of trading on carbon offsets. And Deloitte Forensics has a helpful guide on white-collar crime. And what am I saying here? I'm saying that millions of Canadian children are being scared to death on climate change, and now the government of Canada is being sued by a movement that is deeply embedded in a cyber commercial enterprise run by green billionaires out of Sweden. You've been duped, Canada. There's no climate emergency. But you know what I find even more scary about all of this? One of the people associated with the Swedish public offering is a fellow who thinks we should have rapid decarbonization, a global carbon tax law of $400 per ton. He was the co-author of a paper published last year that drove headlines around the world for weeks. Hothouse Earth, remember that? But I did an analysis of his paper and found something odd. That science paper seemed more like an advertorial, and while it raged on and on about the Anthropocene, just weeks before it was published, the world's largest scientific body, the International Union of Geological Sciences, had issued a statement that we're in the Meghalian. We're not in the Anthropocene. In fact, they said the term Anthropocene is more a sociological term. So, climate strike kids, you're skipping school, you're wasting Canadian taxpayers' dollars, and you're all working for free for green billionaires and big corporations whose plan is to put Canada and you into carbon serfdom forever. There's no climate crisis. Read our new report and see why. Misguided math, misinterpreted science. For Friends of Science Society, I'm Michelle Sterling.